Hello folks, John Lee here in downtown Vancouver, right where Mill Plain meets Interstate 5. In the battle over the Columbia River crossing, the city of Vancouver had allocated about $83 million to change and quote-unquote fix this interchange as part of the $3.5 billion CRC boondoggle. Well, in the gas tax increase that was passed by Senator Rivers and others, the city of Vancouver was able to set aside $83 million allegedly to fix this interchange. Well, nobody would tell the truth about what the plans were and why this interchange needed to be fixed. If you look very closely at where Mill Plain goes underneath I-5 back behind me, it is 7 lanes wide. It is extremely wide. There are shoulders, there are sidewalks. It works great. There is absolutely nothing that truly needs to be fixed. So when pressed, they finally admitted, well, what we need is that money to fix for the Port of Vancouver so that they can ship windmill blades. And those windmill blades, there's a small bump right behind me here where Mill Plain comes a little bit north and then goes back south, and the on-ramp, it was too tough for windmill blades for the trucks to carry those to get onto I-5 southbound. That was the excuse. If you think back earlier this year or maybe late last fall, local newspapers had headlines about Port of Vancouver ships the largest windmill blades ever from the Port of Vancouver. They don't need that modification in order to ship windmill blades. It was all a bogus misnomer, a half-truth, whatever. In reality, the city of Vancouver wants that money, and God bless him, Councillor David Madore forced Jack Berkman to admit in a regional transportation council meeting that the plans for this interchange with $83 million of your dollars, in fact, was the exact plans for this interchange when they built the Columbia River crossing. It's a boondoggle, and that money is now set aside with planned expenditure of it from, I believe, 2022 to 2024 timeframe. So the city of Vancouver already has that $83 million in the bank, so to speak, for resurrecting the CRC. The incumbent Senator Ann Rivers knows this, and she is now flopped, initially opposing the CRC, and now she is supporting the resurrection of the CRC. She's supporting the tolling. Finally, of further interest to 18th District voters is the reality that the city of Vancouver said they needed $25 million of your tax dollars in order to widen SR 14 between 164th and I-205. Well, if Vancouver needed that money, they could have taken $25 million from this $83 million that's already set aside. They still would have had over $50 million set aside in this, and they could have paid for their own modification on SR 14. And most importantly, the citizens and taxpayers of both Camas and Washougal would have had the money to widen and make much more safe the Camas Slough Bridge. To learn more about my battle fighting against the waste and abuse of your taxpayer dollars, go to electjohnlee.com. Remember, Lee is the key for honesty, for openness, for transparency, and the smart spending of your transportation dollars.